just a smidge of making fun of delusional Israelis, huh? Just a little smidge.
Hamas came, invaded Israel, and kidnapped, raped, murdered babies in ovens. When they come and attack us, we have the right to defend ourselves. But it's not.
Wait, once if you've seen this video, twos if you haven't seen it. You guys are in for a fucking treat, dude. You guys are in for a treat. Okay, we're watching.
Okay, that they're trying to take my home away. It's my home. I live in Israel.
My parents and my grandparents were born in a city called Al-Majd al-Asqalan. We forcibly displaced to Gaza. Do you think this is fair?
No, it wasn't.
It was Palestine. It was
not true. There were always
Did
Jews
you ever
there.
read the
Palestinian woman talks about how her family was displaced just a few generations back and was forcibly displaced into Gaza. No, that didn't happen. No, that didn't happen. No, you made that up.
From the beginning.
Shot and chaser.
Where did your grandparents go?
Where were your grandparents born? Poland. You can't make this up. You can't make it up. You can't make this up. This deserves a repost, to be honest. Here you go. To be fair, I also would want to get the fuck out of Poland. I mean, yeah. I also especially would want to get the fuck out of Poland when her grandparents were alive and Jewish. That makes sense to me. But to pretend like people weren't displaced, it's like, what do you think happened to all the people who were living in the place where your grandparents moved into? What do you think happened exactly when
Hamas came.
Man, it's just too good, dude. It's just too good. Also on that note, did you guys see 2024 top anti-Semite of the year, top 10 finalists? Woo! Let's go. This is so unserious, dude. We have Hassan Piker, obviously, everybody knows that one. Come on. Corey Bush, obviously. I mean, come on, everybody knows that one as well. John Cusack, Greta Thunberg, famous for her anti-Semitism. I mean, come on. Jake Shields. I don't know this person, just Natalie. Jackson Hinkle. I just like, even just saying the name Jackson Tinkle. Oh my God, dude. I have like, it's so infuriating knowing funny stories about people, but not being able to share anything. Because I know the funniest Jackson Tinkle story, but like, it's not my story to tell. It's somebody else's story to tell, but it's a really funny one. But again, it's not mine to tell. Candace Owens. And Candace Owens' biggest crime, by the way, to be clear, Candace Owens is an anti-Semite. But the reason she's on this list, just so everybody's on the same page here, is because she had the audacity to question whether or not Israel was committing a genocide. She absolutely is anti-Semitic, but she's not on this list for being anti-Semitic. She's on this list for being anti-Israel. Dan Bilzerian and Bassem Youssef. And Greta Thunberg famously has two big passions. One, climate change activism, and two, anti-Semitism. I'm surprised Rashida Tlaib isn't here. I'm surprised Ilhan Omar isn't here. Where do we get to vote on this? Who nominated these? Where's the streamerawards.com top anti-Semite, biggest anti-Semite streamer? When do we get to vote? Or is this not like a People's Choice Award kind of thing? Oh, Ilhan Omar already won the previous years. Ah, okay, that makes sense. That makes sense. Actually, that makes a lot of sense. No, that makes sense. That makes sense. So I don't know if you guys heard about this on the top. Also on the topic of Israel, Israeli cabinet to vote on Lebanon ceasefire deal after Netanyahu approves in principle. Source says the Israeli cabinet will vote on a ceasefire deal in Lebanon on Tuesday. Benjamin Netanyahu's spokesperson told CNN after a source familiar with the matter said that the Israeli prime minister had approved the plan in principle. Netanyahu signed his potential approval for the emerging ceasefire with Hezbollah during a security consultation with Israeli officials Sunday night. Let's see. On Monday, his spokesperson told CNN the Israeli cabinet will vote on the proposed deal on Tuesday and is expected to pass. Israel still has some reservations over some deals of the agreement, which were expected to be transmitted to the Lebanese government on Monday. Those and other deals are still being negotiated. Multiple sources stressed that the agreement will not be final until all issues are resolved. But to be fair, there were some Hezbollah strikes that hit Tel Aviv today, so we can assume that any agreements are out the window. Out the window. Not necessarily. Israel knows it's not going to. Sorry, Israel knows that annexing Lebanon is infinitely more difficult than trying to annex Gaza. They don't want to fight a war on two fronts. They don't want to. They want this to be over. They want the war on Gaza to go on for as long as possible so that they can destroy as many buildings as possible. And they would prefer to win against Lebanon, but they also have to recognize that
time for Netanyahu to drop his current word because it was hold back his true power.
Fascists notoriously good at fighting wars on two fronts. Yeah. Yeah. Also, they're way more likely to get their shit pushed in by Hezbollah than Hamas. I mean, absolutely. Israel can't even handle malnourished 18-year-old orphans in tracksuits. Lebanon is out of the question. Dude, I saw the most out-of-pocket tweet. I'm going to try and find it. One sec. This one was like, it was a video on Twitter that I saw of IDF members training, specifically training their shooting abilities. I found it. It was this tweet from the guy who currently has an arrest warrant out on him, Gallant. It is essential to focus on the right targets and hit. Shabbat Shalom. And it's this image. Anyone who's seen it knows what the quote tweet says. Dookie stance? No. They have to squat so that they're eye level with the children. Is that actually why? No, that's not actually why. No. Okay, continuing. Let's see. Israel still has some other reservations for some details. No, we already read that. We're up to here. Sources familiar with the negotiations said talks appear to be moving positively towards an agreement, but acknowledge that as Israel and Hezbollah continue to trade fire, one misstep could upend the talks. Israel's far-right national security minister, Ben Gvir, I'm glad that CNN is finally calling them far-right, called the deal a big mistake and said it would be a historic missed opportunity to eradicate Hezbollah. I wonder what he meant by that. I wonder what Ben-Gvir meant by eradicate Hezbollah. Ben-Gvir has also worked to thwart potential ceasefire deals between Israel and Hamas in Gaza. Benny Gantz, who resigned from Israel's war cabinet in June over Netanyahu's handling of the war in Gaza, called on the prime minister to make the deals of the ceasefire public. So for anyone who doesn't understand, by the way, multiple people, from my understanding, stepped down from Netanyahu's war council or war cabinet, specifically because they cited no end goal. And that the strategy seemed to just be bomb the shit out of Gaza. He continues by saying, it is the right of the residents in the north, the fighters, and the citizens of Israel to know, Gantz said. United States envoy Amos Hochstein said in Beirut last week that a ceasefire deal between Israel and Lebanon was within our grasp, but that it was ultimately the decision of the parties. He met with Lebanese Prime Minister Najib Mikati and Parliament Speaker Nabi Berri, the interlocutor with Hezbollah in the talks, and said that there had been constructive and very good discussions to narrow the gaps. Blah, 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 blah. Basically, TLDR, they're trying to get a ceasefire deal. Seems like they're pretty close to it. But I guess we'll see. Baja Blast My Brains Out is a crazy name. Thank you for the 9 months. So I've been out of the loop news-wise for the last week or so. Are news outlets now starting to speak out against Israel a bit, only after the election cycle ending? One, after the election cycle ending, but two, I think also the arrest warrants against Netanyahu and against Gallant, I think they weigh pretty heavily. I think Chatter thinks we're with terrorist state Israel. If you think this is a pro-Israel stream, I am sorry to tell you. We absolutely are not. Yay, I love the escalation of war. It's my favorite thing, and I'm definitely not being sarcastic right now. 9/11/2. Israeli attack on the Iraq... Sorry. What did I say? I don't remember what I said, but whatever. It doesn't matter. Israeli attack on Iraq imminent if Baghdad fails to rein in Iran-backed militias. Another one? More wars with Iraq? Washington has informed Baghdad that IDF airstrikes against Iraq are imminent unless the Iraqi government manages to prevent Iran-backed factions from launching attacks against Israel, according to sources cited by the Saudi news outlet, Al-Hadath. The U.S. has told Iraq that it exhausted all means of pressure on Israel and has asked Baghdad to quickly take action to prevent these attacks. 9/11/2, except this time they cast a white guy for Osama. Stop. Stop. U.S. has told Iraq it has exhausted all means of pressure on Israel. So that was a fucking lie, huh? We did everything we can to make Israel stop. Don't do it. Please don't do it. Could you please don't do it? Here's some more money. Here's some more billions of dollars in weapons. Anyways, could you please not do it? We just don't have any power. We're just the richest country in the world with the most powerful military in the world. We just can't do anything about it. We're just widow babies. We're just On Monday, Foreign Minister Gideon Sar called on the UN Security Council to pressure Baghdad to end attacks by paramilitaries in Iran's axis of resistance, warning that Israel has the right to defend itself under the UN Charter. Dude, if I have to read Israel's right to defend itself one more time. They called dibs on our missiles. We have to respect the dibs. Yeah, you're right. You're right.